Live from Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown, this is Sports Bash presented by TicketBash.com and the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund, TicketBash.com, where memories are made affordable and where you'll never pay a service fee. Sports Bash presented by the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund, a group of like-minded individuals trying to raise awareness to our future generations of all possibilities of success other than just college. For more information, visit www.lookwhomadeit.org. Sports Bash is brought to you by the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Every customer is considered family. At the Embassy Diner, mention Sports Bash and get a free dessert with your meal. By Coach's Collectibles, your number one source for 100% authentic sports memorabilia and live public autograph events. Check them out online at coachescollectiblesny.com. And by the Marty Lyons Foundation, the official charity of Sports Bash Media. For more information, go to martylyonsfoundation.org. Well, hi again, everyone. A very happy Thursday. Well, I guess happy if you're not a Yankee fan. I'm Peter Schwartz. Welcome to the show. 516-465-3990 is the number to call. Make sure you're following Sports Bash Media on X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And make sure you are subscribing to Gov's Comedy Club podcast on YouTube and Facebook. Sports Bash is also now available on Apple Music and Spotify. And you know, I always forget to put it in the script, but I'm telling you to follow Sports Bash Media, and I'm telling you to follow Gov's Comedy Club. I never tell you to follow me. And like I'm out there on social media too. So if you're on X or Twitter, it's at Schwartz Sports, or on Instagram at Peter Schwartz Sports. And I got to make a memo to myself, add Peter to this read here, because I got to promote myself too. Coming up on the show, it is the start of hockey season, so conversations I had yesterday at Islanders practice with number one overall pick Matthew Schaefer, as well as Kyle Palmieri, as the Islanders open up their season tonight in Pittsburgh. Speaking of Kyle Palmieri, you'll hear the interview later in the show, and if you go to my social media, or you can go to GreaterLongIsland.com, an article that I wrote about Kyle Palmieri off of the interview you're going to hear later, and I add in a couple other things from Patrick Waugh as well, but a nice article, I think, if you want to catch that on GreaterLongIsland.com. We'll also have a recap of the Islanders community event on Monday when they partnered with YMCA of Long Island and Kaboom to build a playground at the YMCA in Glen Cove. This was a great event. I talked a little bit about this on Tuesday. Wonderful event. They built a beautiful playground at the YMCA in Glen Cove. We'll hear interviews I did with Islanders TV voice Brendan Burke, Ann Rinna, who's the Islanders VP of Community Relations, and also Peter Foster, the Executive Director of the YMCA in Glen Cove. We'll also have What's Hot at TicketBash.com. And I can tell you right now, breaking news, no more Yankee playoff tickets on TicketBash.com for the 2025 season. So you'll have to focus on some other things that we'll tell you about. The Sports Bash Media poll question of the day is coming up. It is going to be Yankee related, as you can expect, and we'll check out the Coach's Collectibles item of the week. We'll also tell you a little bit about the shows and our schedule coming up next week. Being a sports fan is very much like, living in the Northeast, because you love to see the seasons change. So if you live in the Northeast, like now, it's supposed to be fall. It's starting to feel like fall a little bit, because we had a big rainstorm coming up this Sunday. But it's starting to feel like fall, and I love this time of year because you can drive on the highways, especially we've been going up to Connecticut, every weekend to go see Bradley play football, and we're going to Massachusetts this Saturday. And if you think the fall foliage is nice around here, the greatest we ever saw was in New Hampshire last year, driving up to New Hampshire for Bradley's game last year. But I'm looking forward to seeing, along the highways, driving to Massachusetts, this weekend, the fall foliage. And it's great to live in the Northeast. That's why I say, people who live in Florida, with all due respect to my mother and my family and friends in Florida, I can't sweat my nuts off every single day of the year. I like living here on Long Island in the New York area where you can watch the seasons change. And that's very much what it's like to be a sports fan, because one season comes to an end and the next season begins. And that's what I'm kind of going through. As you see, I'm all decked out in my Islanders stuff today because the Islanders open up their season tonight against the Penguins in Pittsburgh. We're going to talk about the Islanders more in the second segment with some interviews that I did and some other things. But we start with the Yankees, and I'm not... Tony, first thing I knock on the door, he opens up the door. He goes, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine. Why?" He goes, "Well, last night." And I'm like, "I'm okay. You know, I've said this before, and I don't want to sound like a stuck-up, brash Yankee fan, but the Yankees don't owe me anything in my life. I mean, I've seen the Yankees win. Well, now I'm gonna look and sound like a really stuck-up Yankee fan. Let's see, 77, 78, 96, 98, 99. 2000, 2009. I've seen the Yankees win 7 World Series in my life. So they really don't owe me anything. Even the Islanders, too. Like, I lived through the dynasty years. I'd love to see I want my kids to see the Islanders win a cup. Like, that's really what I want to see. I was a year and a half old when the Jets won the Super Bowl. I would love to see one. We'll talk about the Jets another time. Why did I waste my breath just now on the Jets? But the Yankees don't owe me anything in my life. I mean, they've given me so much, but when I watch this Yankee team, I can only think of one thing, and that George Steinbrenner. And this, you've heard me talk about the way sports radio is now, and it's so different than when I grew up. Tony and I have talked about, remembering, Art Rush Jr., growing up listening to WABC Sports Talk, and when FAN first went on the air. The landscape of sports talk is so different now than it was years ago. And this is going to be a very lazy take that I'm going to say anyway because I truly believe it. George Steinbrenner is rolling over in his grave when he sees what has happened to his beloved Yankees. And this is kind of a spoiler to the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day a little bit later on in the show. But this Yankee malaise since 2009 can rest solely with one person, and that's Hal Steinbrenner, the Yankees owner. Because he has allowed the Yankees to stray from their mission statement. And if you want to say, the Yankees are all about winning. If they don't win, it's not a good year. That's the way it's been. And that's the way it was set up by George. The mission statement every year is to win the World Series. And if you don't win the World Series, it's a failure. Now, as a fan, I've been okay with what I've seen in my life. I've seen the Yankees, I just said, they won 7 in my life. They've been to other World Series. They get to the playoffs just about every year. And I think I have said this on the show, the only thing that a team can promise to their fans at the beginning of the season is that they'll have a chance to win and a chance to compete. You have to have hope as a fan. And I think if you're a Yankee fan, you come into every season with hope, and it's legitimate hope because the Yankees always have a high payroll. They have star players. They'll spend money. But the problem with the Yankees right now is not that they don't spend money. They do spend money. And it's not like people don't go to the games. They sell out just about every game. The problem is that the vision of this Yankees franchise has changed to the point where other teams are outsmarting the Yankees, outplaying the Yankees, outmanaging the Yankees. And you saw it a lot in the World Series last year against the Dodgers, but it really came to roost in this American League Division Series against the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays, even though the Blue Jays and the Yankees finished with the same number of wins, you could tell throughout the series, the Yankees come back in Game 3 aside. The Blue Jays are a far superior team than the Yankees. They hit the ball, they field the ball, they play good fundamental baseball. The Yankees don't. And this has been a problem with the Yankees now for years. That they live and die with the home run. And now they live and die with the nerds in the analytic department. And this circles back to what Brian Cashman, listen, he's meant a lot to this franchise. He was the GM for 4 of the 5 world championships that the Yankees won between 96 and 2009. But his fingerprints are only on the 2009 World Series. Because the other 4, 96, 98, 99, 2000. Well, 96, Bob Watson was the GM. But that team was built by Bob Watson and Stick Michael. So Brian Cashman, while he made some moves here and there, the fingerprints of that team were all over Bob Watson and Stick Michael. Brian Cashman's blueprints, handprints, whatever you want to call it, only really come into play with 2009. So imagine if you are a Fortune 500 company, or any company, pick a company here on Long Island, and if you own this company, you hire a CEO, and your mission statement every year is within your industry to be number one, generate the most revenue, have the happiest employees, do the most in the community. Like, that is your mission. If you're a company on Long Island or a company anywhere, it doesn't matter where it is, you strive to be number one. And that is your mission statement. Our mission statement is we're going to provide this for our customers or our fans, whatever it might be, and that's what we want to do. If you hired a CEO to run your company and you only accomplished that mission statement one time in 25 years, would that person still be your CEO? Tony, would that person still be your CEO?
No.
No. Thank you, Tony Walker, my producer, the host of the Knock 'em Dead comedy show, Monday through Friday, 11 to 12:30, right here on Governors Comedy Club Podcast. See, I always find a way to get that in.
I appreciate
I always do. There you go. But no, you would not. If you were the CEO of a Fortune 500 company and you reached your mission statement once in 25 years, you'd be looking for a new CEO. In fact, if you were a good owner for a company and you only had one good year in 10 years, one good year in 5 years, you might be looking for a new CEO. But Brian Cashman, who has been the Yankees general manager since 1998, has had his fingerprints on one World Series championship. I get it. It counts. He was the GM in 98, 99, 2000, and the other successful seasons they had. But since 2000, 25 years, one World Championship. And I get it. There are some teams that would kill for that one championship. There's teams that have never sniffed the chance to win a championship. And I get it. And again, this may come off sounding like a spoiled Yankee fan. But when your mission statement laid out by your late owner, George Steinbrenner, who should be in the Baseball Hall of Fame, but that's a story for another day, and his son is operating the team, and your mission statement has changed 1 out of 25 years. And again, I've met Brian Cashman. When I covered the Yankees all the time, he was always very respectful to me, and it's not like I want to ever see somebody lose their job, but he has failed as a general manager for the most part in the last 25 years, and he still has the job. And why does he still have the job? Because the vision of the Yankees franchise has changed. With Hal Steinbrenner as the owner and the other executives, the team president, Randy Levine, Lon Trost is a big shot in the Yankee ownership management group. The vision has changed. And this is why I say that. The stands are full. You're buying your hot dogs. You're buying the other food. You're paying outrageous prices to park your car. You're paying overpriced figures to buy merchandise at Yankee Stadium. As a business, the Yankees are thriving. They're printing money there in the Bronx. But while George Steinbrenner loved making money, do you know what he loved more? He loved winning. And he never left any stone unturned when it came to making the Yankees a winner. And it's just sad that his son doesn't share in that same vision, because they don't even come close to having the killer instinct that they had when George was not just alive, because his illness deteriorated him over the last few years of his life. But when George was alive and kicking, and the Yankees were in that dynasty, and also in the 70s, there was nothing that George wouldn't do to make the Yankees a winner. And it spoiled us. I get it. I just wish the Yankees would do one of two things. Number one, go back to the way it was. Or number two, just come out and admit these are not, your 70s and 90s and 2000s Yankees. The business has changed. Why did analytics all of a sudden become the general manager of the Yankees? Why did Brian Cashman go from writing the checks that George Steinbrenner gave him to now all of a sudden hiring, geeks and nerds from Ivy League schools to tell you, oh, this is what you have to tell Aaron Boone is the lineup tonight. And you can't pitch that guy more than 2 days in a row. And, if Giancarlo Stanton had this for lunch, he can't play tonight. Or whatever that might be. These are not the Yankees that I grew up with. And these are not the Yankees that I covered in the 90s and also was a fan of. It's totally different. And that's why I am upset. I'm not upset that the Yankees didn't win the World Series this year, because I've seen it so many times in my life. And again, I don't want to sound like a spoiled Yankee fan, but they are a different Yankees franchise now, and they're different for the wrong reasons. And that's the problem. And my wife, Cheryl, has some great sayings. I shared one with Tony before the show. Maybe I'll get to that one later, too. But my wife loves to tell me, and she's spot on with this, if nothing changes, nothing changes. So, right? You're laughing at that one, too.
That sounds like something Yogi would have said.
Right. But it's true, right? If nothing changes, nothing changes. So Brian Cashman, since 2000, since the Yankees beat the Mets in the World Series in 2000, there have been 25 Yankee seasons, one World Championship. Okay, they went World Series in 01 and 03, and then not again until last year. But still, one. So again, go back to the comparison of being a Fortune 500 company. A CEO is hired. If he's the CEO for 25 years and you meet your mission statement once in those 25 years, something is wrong. And the Yankees need a new voice at the top, but that will not happen as long as Hal Steinbrenner and the Yankee muckety-mucks in the front office and the management group are happy with status quo. And what is status quo? Status quo is 50,000 people showing up every night, fans buying the merch, fans paying for parking, fans buying the food and beverage. The Yankees are a successful business model because they're printing money. But the fans, as much as they love going to games, you're never going to get people to stop going to games. If you're a Yankee fan, you love going to the games. But you don't make those ultimate customers ultimately happy unless you're competing for a championship and winning it. And that's the problem. And that is the problem with the Yankees right now, is that there is no longer that, you know what, we've got you down on the ground, we're going to take my big size 14 foot and put it on your throat. Because that's what the Yankees used to be. And now they can't even, you talked about small market teams that use analytics because you're trying to beat the Yankees because you can't compete with the Yankees payroll. You saw the movie, why can't I think of the name of the movie about the Oakland A's with Billy Beane? Moneyball. Thank you very much, Tony. Slipped my mind. So you get to 58 years old, you forget things. Moneyball. Like, remember the scene in Moneyball where Billy Beane says, if we try to compete with the Yankees in here, we're going to lose to them outside. And when he meant that, he meant spending money because the A's had no money. So now the Yankees are trying to compete with the teams that know how to do the analytics and have to do the analytics because they can't afford the payroll that the Yankees have. So why would you try to do that? Are you not hiring the best nerds? that the other teams are hiring? That's what I'm talking about. And until that changes, everybody who hates the Yankees will continue to be happy because the Yankees won't win. Tony, tell me the truth. Was there a part of you at all watching the game last night? Was there a part of you as a Met fan that you felt sorry for me?
Well, I always feel sorry for you, but I'm not. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'm not a Yankee hater, I was upset.
So you're in a different category than what I'm about to talk about, because I took a beating from a couple of people over the last 24 hours, and this is the last thing I'm going to talk about before I go to break, because I really want to get to talking about the Islanders, because they put a smile on my face, and I'm very excited for the season opener tonight. But I have taken a beating from two people who I consider very important to me. Obviously, one of them is my son, Bradley. He roasted me on Instagram last night. Did you see that post from him? There were like different shapes, hexagon, pentagon, whatever it is. And then there's the Yankee logo, and it put season gone. He's relentless. My younger son, Jared, can be that way at times. But he laid back last night. He didn't say anything. My wife is indifferent to it. We kind of bust each other's chops, Mets and Yankees, every now and then, very playfully and fun. But Bradley is a cold-blooded killer when it comes to that. When it comes to talking trash, cold-blooded killer. I love him to death. You'll get yours. I was pretty quiet when the Mets didn't make the playoffs. And that brings me to another point. My good friend Rob in Baltimore, who threw the Jets under the bus when he moved to Baltimore, became a Ravens fan. And all he does is bust my balls about the Jets being horrible. And they are. And the Ravens, he's got 2 Super Bowls with the Ravens, and they're supposed to be great this year. But here's the great thing. Since the Mets didn't make the playoffs, the Ravens are off to a 1-4 start. Rob in Baltimore was very, very quiet. There was no chirping at Peter on Facebook or other social media because he had nothing to chirp about. Because the Mets didn't make the playoffs, and the Ravens are almost as bad as the Jets, 1-4 to the Jets 0-5. And I knew this was going to happen last night. As soon as the Yankee game was over, I went to the office in the house. I had to write the story, and I looked down at my phone, and there's a little window that pops up. Rob Friedman has mentioned you in a post. And he has this thing where he talks about the cable being out in the Bronx. And, he mimics the John Sterling Yankees win call by saying, the Yankees lose. So what my response to him was? I'm very, very happy that you came out of your Mets and Ravens coma to take a shot at my Yankees. And I said nothing. I did not say one word about the Mets not making the playoffs. Not one. But this son of a bitch. And I say that with all the love in the world because he's my best friend. But you went into a coma for 2 weeks. And then you fire it? All right. I have a microphone. You don't. I've got this. So you know what, you fraud? Let's see what happens. Just wait. Just wait. Because at the end of the day, I get the last word on that stuff. I'm done talking about the Yankees on this show. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to turn our attention to the Islanders, who open their season tonight in Pittsburgh. More Sports Bash coming up right after this. Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer. You are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner. where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com and the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund. This segment of Sports Bash is presented by the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund, as I mentioned, a group of like-minded individuals trying to raise awareness to our future generations of all possibilities of success other than just college. For more information, visit www.lookwhomadeit.org. Well, it is hockey season, and Happy New Year to all who celebrate. For the Rangers, they started on Tuesday. Other teams started yesterday. And as you can see, I am celebrating Islanders Hockey New Year by being decked out in my Islander stuff today. And it is a very, very exciting time to be an Islanders fan or to be part of the Islanders organization, because there is a new era around the team, a breath of fresh air. The new ownership group has made strides in being more fan-friendly with the new general manager, Matthew Darsh. You had the first overall pick in the draft after winning the NHL draft lottery. And that brought Matthew Schaefer to Long Island. He was 17 years old in June when the Islanders drafted him. He is all of 18 years old now in 1 month, and will make his NHL debut tonight against the Penguins in Pittsburgh. And I'll talk a little bit more about him after the interview, but after practice yesterday, I caught up with Matthew Schaefer for a couple of minutes. NHL debut, just how excited are you for tomorrow?
Yeah, can't wait. Obviously, it's going to be pretty cool. I think just, playing in the NHL, that's been my goal. But, the hard work doesn't stop. And, I've put a lot of time, but I'm going to put even more time in, to my game and, work even harder. So, lots of things to work on, but can't wait to get started and go underway with this, with such a great group of guys.
As much time as you've spent, your family has too. I know you're going to have a lot of family there tomorrow night. How important is that for you to have family and friends there tomorrow?
Yeah, of course. It gives me someone to say hi to after the game, but no, obviously, I love when, people are in the building, that I'm super close to. It makes me feel like I'm at home when, people come to watch me. So to know you have people in the stands, it's always a good feeling, but I'm going to be so dialed in and, just keep my head on the game, and then, I'll see them after. But, I just want to get going, and I can't wait.
Through all the camps and now through the preseason games, how ready are you for this?
Yeah, can't wait. Like I said, everyone, dreams, doing this, but also put so much time and hard work. So, honestly, I just can't wait to get started. Obviously, this is what you play hockey for. You play for the games, and you want to go as far as you can with the team, but you got to take it day by day. So, I think we just need to have a good start and start the season off really good.
Your NHL debut. He's 18 years old. All of just recently turned 18. And he is so mature beyond his years. And his story is so amazing because, for what he has been through in his life in recent years, for him to have that kind of maturity as an 18-year-old, and most people watching the show or listening know his story, but if you don't, he lost his mom not long ago to breast cancer. And if you remember, on draft night, the Islanders put the ribbon on his jersey and mother's name inside the jersey. And they also, I forget what the actual term is, but when you go off, like, I have to figure out what the name is. I just heard it yesterday and I can't remember. But there's a term for a parent who takes in a hockey player. So like Matthew Schaefer's from the Toronto area. He goes to play in Erie in junior hockey, in Erie, Pennsylvania for the Erie Otters. And there are families who take in the junior hockey players. And the mother who took him in, like his hockey mother, not his birth mother, his hockey mother, she committed suicide. So he lost his birth mother, his mom, who was so supportive for all those years, and the woman who took him into her home. Billet, that's it. Billet. And for him to overcome that is just, the whole story is sad, but it is so inspiring to be around this kid. And I had a chance to talk to him a few times during training camp. when he first came in for development camp and yesterday, and he's always so respectful. I mean, for an 18-year-old kid, you don't even think he's 18. But I'm looking forward to seeing his NHL debut tonight. Another player to keep an eye on tonight is a guy for the first time in his NHL career has played 82 straight games, all 82 games of the season in back-to-back years. And he is one of the Islanders' most consistent goal scorers. He was born on Long Island in Smithtown. Here's my chat yesterday with Kyle Palmieri. How excited are you for the start of the new season?
Yeah, a lot of excitement. I mean, it was a long summer, exciting summer with some of the additions here, and we had a good camp, and we're excited to drop the puck on the season for us.
How about for you personally? I mean, you played 82 games back-to-back seasons for the first time in your career, and just the excitement around the team with the additions and everything. How good do you feel heading into the season?
Yeah, I mean, feel good, feel healthy. That's a big part of it, and like you said, we're just excited to get going here.
Why do you think you've been able to kind of capture the fountain of youth here in the last couple of years as far as your career is concerned?
Yeah, I mean, just taking care of myself. Obviously, attribute a lot of it to my teammates and guys I'm playing with on my line on a daily basis. But yeah, as much as I can take care of myself off the ice, it's about preparing yourself and being ready to go every day.
How about the disappointment of not making the playoffs last year? How much of a chip do the guys carry on their shoulder heading into this year to try and erase what happened last year?
Yeah, for sure. Didn't finish the way we wanted to. And like I said, we had an exciting off season and a lot of changes, new faces, things like that, and good camp, and we're just ready to go.
How about with all the new changes? It seems like it's regenerized the fan base and seems to be very excited. There's a lot of excitement in the air about what's about to happen.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a bit of a spark for us in this room and for the fans, and I think everyone's chomping at the bit for some hockey.
How impressed have you been with Matthew for an 18-year-old kid to make this team?
Yeah, it's incredible. I got to meet him over the summer right after he got drafted here at development camp, and he carries himself so well, and he's got such a mature personality that the second you got on the ice with him, you saw that carries over, and he earned it. So tomorrow it's really just about going out and enjoying it.
And how about starting off against the Penguins? Obviously, they already started against the Rangers last night. What kind of a game do you expect from them tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, it's their home opener. They're going to be buzzing, and like I said, we're ready to rise to the challenge, and we're ready to go.
Excited are you for the start? Thanks to Kyle Palmieri for joining me after practice yesterday. Another good guy to talk to in the locker room, and you have to give him a lot of credit. And, if you read my story about Kyle Palmieri today on GreaterLongIsland.com, I have a quote from Patrick Waugh, the head coach, talking about how cool it is, not cool, but how important it's been for Kyle to keep his body fresh and work hard, and just a great veteran, and so glad he's still on the Islanders, and we'll see if he lights the lamp tonight on opening night. Off the ice, it was a big week for the Islanders as well. On Monday, and I talked about this a little bit on the show on Tuesday, but the Islanders partnered with YMCA of Long Island and the company Kaboom. They build playgrounds for kids, but they combined to build a playground at the YMCA in Glen Cove. And employees from all over the Islanders organization were on hand to help complete the build. And it started over the weekend. Monday, they dotted the I's and crossed the T's, and you had a sea of blue T-shirts that said Islanders in the community. And there were so many people from the Islanders organization, and that included the broadcasters. And Brendan Burke, who calls Islander games on MSG Networks, also showed up and lent a helping hand to building this playground for the kids. For you, not just as the TV voice of the team, but also someone who's important to the community, what does it mean to be involved in something like this here today?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've got 3 kids, right? I feel like I've spent a lot of time at these playgrounds for the last 11 years. So it's great to be able to see them be made and to put some work in. And I mean, these are great. The kids love them.
And you know this from being from the area. You know how much the Islanders have meant to the community here on Long Island over the years, and this is just another example of how the Islanders are committed to the team. And in fact, Long Island's on their logo.
Yeah, you want to see Islanders stuff. It always makes me mad when you walk around Long Island and see Rangers stuff, right? So
right.
The more Islanders stuff we can find in the community, the better.
season getting underway on Thursday. Obviously, this is important too, but for yourself, getting ready for this new season, a new era in Islanders history on Thursday.
Yeah, it's exciting, right? Opening day is always exciting for everybody, but I think when you've got some changes, and I think there's just a lot of questions that need to be answered, it makes it even more exciting because nobody knows what's about to happen. So the faster we can get to figuring that out, the better.
And we found out about the roster today, and it's official. I think we all knew this was going to happen during the course of training camp, but Matthew Schaefer makes the team. You've seen him a lot during training camp. He doesn't look 18 years old to me.
No, he doesn't. Physically, he doesn't. The way he skates, he doesn't. And I think the way he understands and processes the game, he doesn't. And I think that's the part that you worry about as a young player. He's going to make mistakes. But does he have anything to gain by going back to junior hockey? Probably not. And he fits right in here. And so as long as they're conscious with the plan and bring him along and start him, on the third pair with Scott Mayfield and see where it goes, I think it could be great. You could get a guy who's 4 or 5 years in the league and he's turning 22 years old. It's fantastic.
And one thing I've seen from talking to some of the guys at training camp is there is definitely a chip on their shoulder after what happened last year. When you look at this team in totality, it looks better on paper, but I guess the proof will be in the pudding when they get on the ice.
Yeah, I mean, and it always is. Everybody knows what their team looks like, and then it's what do the other teams look like? Are they better too? Right. So it's a matter of getting better, but also making sure that you're keeping up with everybody else and winning the games that you're supposed to win, because that's the most important thing. So I think the Metropolitan Division, maybe more so than any of the other three, is up for grabs. I think there's definitely some teams that are going to move up and down in that rankings.
Now we know you can call hockey games like not many other people can in history, but what's your skill set here in building a playground? What's your go-to activity with your two hands to try and help get this thing done today?
I'm okay as long as somebody gives me very specific directions. If you hand me a piece of paper and say build that, it's not going to be right. Just ask my wife. So, if you give me
sounds a lot like me.
Yeah, give me something to do, I can do it. Hammer something, fine, but don't make me figure it out on my own.
Thanks.
You got
Appreciate it. Brendan Burke, thanks so much for joining me at the event on Monday. Yeah, I'm not handy at all. I'm with Brendan on that. Listen, there's certain things you have instructions, you can do it. Sometimes the instructions come in another language, and it still doesn't help me. But good to talk to Brendan at this event. When you talk about the Islanders in the community, and I've said this before, excuse me, here on the show, other venues as well. Not demeaning any of the other teams in the area, because every team that plays in this area does so much in the community. And maybe I'm biased. Maybe it's just because I live here on Long Island. But I defy anybody to show me another team in this area that does more in the community than the Islanders do. And at the head of that is Ann Renna, the Islanders VP of Community Relations, and she's also the Executive Director of the Islanders Children's Foundation, and she does an unbelievable job with every Islanders community event that goes on. Her and her staff do an amazing job bringing the Islanders into the community, whether it's school activities, charitable functions, or an event like Monday where you are doing something so special for the kids in Glen Cove at the YMCA. And I had a chance to catch up with Ann for a couple of minutes on Monday as well. How excited are you for this event today? I mean, you guys do so much in the community, and it seems like a really cool event to be part of.
Absolutely. We're having a lot of fun here today. There's employees getting together before the season starts to put together this playground for the community.
The Islanders have been so much involved in the community since their inception, and you wear the geographic area on the logo. To be involved in events like this it's got to be something special for everybody in the organization.
Absolutely. Anytime you can help out the community, it's really important for us. The community is there every game night supporting us as our team is on the ice, and projects like these are just small gestures to say thank you for all the support they give us throughout the year.
And the Islanders Children's Foundation does so many great things, but to work with the YMCA, and they do so much for kids, not just on Long Island, but obviously all over the country, what does it mean to partner with them on something like this?
Absolutely. It means a lot to partner with a group like the YMCA. I mean, as you said it, they are here, giving opportunities to children, giving them safe places to play and program. To be involved with after school. And so for to kind of join forces and make sure that we're helping out.
You got Brendan Burke and Shannon Hogan from MSG, but I look at the top of that hill over there, and I see your new general manager, Matthew Darsh, sweating it a little bit and lending a helping hand, shoveling. That's got to be pretty cool to see your general manager up there doing this.
Absolutely. Very cool to have everybody here, Matthew included. So nice to have him. Had a big day today, right? He's at practice earlier today.
I was on a Zoom with the other Islander beat people, and then, he's here now.
Yeah, he went from finalizing the roster to jumping out and helping in the community. He's helping us finish this playground.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks so much to Ann Rinna. Again, she's a rock star when it comes to the Islanders in the community. Does a wonderful job. And as I mentioned in the interview, this was earlier that morning. I'm on a Zoom with the other Islander beat reporters and Matthew Darsh, the general manager, talking about the roster being finalized. And then I get to the YMCA in Glen Cove, and there's Matthew Darsh in an Islander t-shirt, shorts, up on top of this big mound of mulch. And that's what they were doing. That was like the finishing touches. They were collecting the mulch and putting it out and laying it out where the playground was being built. And it's so great to see Matthew and his wife becoming so ingrained in the community in such a short amount of time here on Long Island. And the last interview we did on Monday, and again, this was all for the kids in Glen Cove, the YMCA at Glen Cove, and it was great to catch up for a few minutes, and I hope I did my part in turning him into a hockey fan during this interview. But Peter Foster, the executive director of the YMCA in Glen Cove. How cool is this event here today to have the Islanders involved in this playground build?
I mean, it's truly amazing. And again, this is a process that started back in July. It's been moving pretty quickly, and the people over at the Islanders have been great in getting us to this point, and now to have them all here to volunteer and complete the build is truly amazing.
It's so important to take care of our children, and when you have something like this to add and enrich a child's life, what does that mean to you and to the YMCA?
Well, it means a lot to me. Both my kids came up in this preschool. I started my job here as a camp counselor, so I know what it is to have the children be happy. We had the kids come out and say goodbye to the old playground, and I can't wait to see their faces for the new one.
And you look around here now and you see Islander employees, former players, even the new general manager, Matthew Darsh, is up there on the top of the hill shoveling things and helping out. I mean, that has to bring a smile to your face.
No, absolutely. I met his wife as she came in, so to see her on top of the hill doing the same thing just really, shows that they're really about the community and helping, build a strong community like this build.
Tell me about the YMCA. I think a lot of people know kind of roundabout what it's all about, but can you explain exactly what the YMCA does, and specifically here on Long Island?
Sure. So YMCA is not just a gym and swim. We are a charity, non-for-profit, and we believe in giving kids education through mind, body, and spirit. We start with our preschool, our fitness center, teaching swimming lessons, especially here on Long Island, where we're surrounded by water, so it's important for them to learn, and just trying to enrich their lives in any way we can.
And when you have Long Island's major professional sports team, the Islanders, lending a helping hand like they've done in their entire existence, what does that mean to the program?
Again, I think this will essentially enhance all of our programming as far as camp and preschool, and really just give the community a nice, safe, and place to come in and have their children have a good time.
And I have to ask you, the season starts on Thursday night. Are you an Islanders fan, and how excited are you for the start of the season?
Well, I tell you, I'm not an Islanders fan. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm not a hockey fan per se, but
we can work on that with you.
I believe after this build and seeing the community, I will definitely go out and support and catch a game for sure.
Thanks so much for your time.
You.
I appreciate it.
All right.
How cool is this? I think we created a new Islander fan on Monday. I think Peter Foster, and I'm going to reach out to him because I want to know when he's going to come to an Islanders game, and I would love to go over and say hello to him again. But a wonderful man, executive director of the YMCA in Glen Cove, Peter Foster. And again, you've seen the pictures online. We showed some of them here on the show. Just a wonderful, wonderful job by the Islanders, by the YMCA, and by Kaboom to build this playground for the kids at the YMCA in Glen Cove. Coming up next here on the show, we have What's Hot at Ticketbash.com. We have the SportsBash Media Poll Question of the Day, and we have the Coaches Collectibles Item of the Week. That's all when SportsBash rolls on right after this. We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention SportsBash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage.
In 1982, the Marty Lyons Foundation began with a single heartfelt mission: to bring moments of joy and hope to critically ill children by granting wishes that make their dreams come true. Since that day, we have touched the lives of over 8,500 families, raising over $43 million to grant wishes that offer a beacon of light in their darkest times. These precious wishes cost an average of $6,700 each, and your support is crucial to our mission. Every donation, big or small, makes a difference. And with 76 cents of every dollar going directly to supporting our families, you can rest assured your support truly changes lives. The Marty Lyons Foundation operates 11 chapters in 14 states now, working tirelessly to reach as many children as we can. This dedication goes hand in hand with our commitment to transparency and accountability, earning us top ratings on Charity Navigator, Great Nonprofits, and Candid, which underscores our dedication to those we serve. The Marty Lyons Foundation grants wishes to children ages 3 to 17. And what really makes this foundation so special is our willingness to grant not only a first wish, but also consider a second wish to a child who continues to battle a life-threatening illness. We stand by these children, offering them hope and strength through the power of dreams, giving our children the courage to wish for more.
What's your purpose in life? Is your purpose in life to live in the big house and drive the nice car? No. Your purpose in this life is to make it a little bit better for those that follow and realize that we live for today to see a better tomorrow.
Visit MartyLyonsFoundation.org to learn more and get involved.
Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com and the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund. This segment of Sports Bash is brought to you by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage. Don't forget to mention Sports Bash and get a free dessert with your meal. Before I get to the usual things we do here in the last segment, just a quick mention of football. The Giants look to bounce back from their loss to the Saints tonight when they host the Eagles. Thursday Night Football at MetLife Stadium, so the Giants try to get back on track. They are 1-4 and 1-1 in the Jackson Dart era. As far as the Jets are concerned, I really don't know what to say about the Jets anymore. I really don't. They play in London this week, and they might as well play in Timbuktu for all I care. You know, it's just here's the thing. They are 0-5. And they are as bad an 0-5 as you could possibly get. And people have been asking me for the last few days, like, how do you fix, well, what's wrong with the Jets? How do you fix the Jets? And really, I think a few more sexual harassment lawsuits. I think that's how you fix the Jets. Because I think, with any pro sports team, it all starts at the top. I talk about it all the time. It all starts at the top. It's your owner hiring the right people to run it and hiring the right people to coach it or manage it. That's how you win. And as far as the Jets go, it is an utter disaster with Woody Johnson as the owner. And I brought up the sexual harassment. Not that I want to see people get sexually harassed, but you've probably all seen the article that came out in the Athletic and the New York Post about two former Jet employees who were let go as a result of allegations of sexual harassment by the Jets president. And if you remember, The only real way a league can get rid of an owner is if they do so many heinous things, or a singular heinous thing. Remember when Marge Schott owned the Cincinnati Reds, and she said some racist things, and Major League Baseball made her sell the team. And then you had the owner of the Clippers, and they made an FX movie or miniseries about this. Donald Sterling said some horrific, I think they were racially or sexually driven things, and the NBA made him sell the team. Steve Ballmer wound up buying the Clippers. And most recently, you had the Washington Commanders, Dan Snyder, and there was a culture within the Washington Redskins / Washington football team / Washington Commanders. That there was a culture of sexual harassment in that team. And Dan Snyder was already a disliked owner to begin with. And when that all started to come out, that put the pressure on him to sell the team. And again, I bring up the sexual harassment thing with the Jets is because, I mean, everyone, would he sell the team? Would he sell the team? Well, Woody's not going to sell the team if he doesn't want to. He's the owner. But if they were to ever find a culture within the Jets organization that was not up to the NFL's liking, they could make him sell the team. And I think that's where this all goes to. I think it starts at the top. And it's nothing against Aaron Glenn. It's nothing against Darren Muji, the new GM, or the players or anything. It's just the culture. I said it on the show. I think I said it on Tuesday, or maybe I said it last week. This is what if I bought the Jets, here's what I would do. I would blow the whole thing up. I'd start from scratch like an expansion team. I would fire everybody in the organization from the top of the mountain all the way down to the janitor. And you're laughing. I'm serious.
What'd the janitor do?
He's part of the like that whole franchise needs to be exterminated. Like there is some sort of disease within the Jets franchise. He'll get another job, the janitor. I mean, it's
at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, I'm sure the Yankees are hiring too. But everybody. And there's great people who work for the Jets. But if I bought the team, I would start from scratch. I literally would. Now, players are under contract. You can't get rid of everybody. But, man, would I treat that, and I would get everybody out of One Jets Drive in Florham Park. I'd blow up the building. I'd move the Jets back to Long Island or Queens, build my own stadium, get away from the Giants. I would just do anything that I could to escape the plague that is the New York Jets. They need an exorcism on that team. Wasn't that the movie The Exorcist, right?
Yeah.
Like, there needs to be a sequel to The Exorcist and do it to the Jets. Like, that's what needs to happen. But anyway.
Jetsercist.
I like that. Tony, come. Jetsercist. Jetsercist? Right. Remember I had trouble saying Wikipedia the other day? Jetsercist. That's what we need. We need, like, Roto-Rooter to come and, like, clean out all the bathrooms there at One Jets Drive. And I only thought of Roto-Rooter because I was doing updates on the Fan the other night, and that was one of the sponsors on one of the updates. But, like you can bring Surf Pro in to just, like, rip the whole thing apart. I'll name every company. Whatever. Anything that can help the Jets, like, exterminate everything from the organization, that's what we need. And until that happens, it's going to be the same crap. The Jets play in the morning on Sunday, and I tell the story all the time, of course. This is the third time the Jets will be playing a London game on a Sunday morning. They played last year, too, lost to the Vikings. But a few years ago, they played the Falcons on a Sunday morning, and that's when I had chest pains. And had do you know the story, Tony?
I don't think so.
You don't know the story?
I don't think so.
So, yeah, a few years ago, the Jets playing the Falcons on Sunday morning, and I'm sitting there watching the game in our house with my family, and I start to feel chest pains while watching the Jet game. And my wife, Cheryl, is like, "Are you okay?" And I wasn't responding.
Oh, wow.
I'm literally, sweat is coming down my face. And she slid me off the couch because she didn't want me to fall off the couch. So she kind of helped me get, and I literally was like non-responsive. Like that's how like I was like I would, and they called 911. They rushed me to the hospital. And the doctor comes in, and I have the Jet game on the TV and the thing. And the doctor goes, well, what happened? I said, I always knew the Jets would put me in the hospital. And that's what happened. Heart attack was ruled out. I think it was just another excuse for people to tell me to lose weight. I think that's what it wound up being. But yeah, the sweat was coming down my face, and that's what the Jets do to me. That's what they do. We'll see what happens on Sunday. But I fully expect 0-6. Let's get to what's hot at ticketbash.com, and it's certainly not the Jets. The Giants host the Eagles tonight at MetLife Stadium. Also tonight, the Knicks play their preseason home opener against the Wizards at the Garden. We can't wait for Knicks season to start because they're good. The Islanders' home opener is Saturday night at UBS Arena against the Washington Capitals. The Rangers host the Capitals on Sunday at the Garden. Get tickets to these events and more at the lowest prices with no service fees at ticketbash.com. It is time for the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. We post a new question every Tuesday and Thursday on the Sports Bash Media X/Twitter page. Who do you most blame for the Yankees' failure this season and in recent seasons? You have four choices: the owner, Hal Steinbrenner; the GM, Brian Cashman; the manager, Aaron Boone; and also the players. And I think I brought this up earlier. To me, it starts at the top. It starts with Hal Steinbrenner. He's got to say, look, all right, I know our stands are filled and people are buying everything, but the product on the field is not what the Yankees are supposed to have. We need to compete for a world championship. And to me, this lies in the hands of Hal Steinbrenner. I ran a similar question a couple of weeks ago about the Mets. Who do you blame? Tony, as an unbiased Met fan who doesn't hate the Yankees, is it Hal Steinbrenner to blame, Brian Cashman, Aaron Boone, or the players? Because for the Mets, you blame Carlos Mendoza, the manager.
Yeah, and I
blame the players.
I'm kind of, that's where I'm going. I like Boone, but I'm going to put it on him and the players.
So you're going to go with Boone and the players?
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, I had somebody respond on Twitter this morning saying all of the above. Yeah, there's enough blame to go around. I think it squares mostly or even all with the owner who can call for a change whenever he wants, and he just chooses not to, and that's the problem. Coach's Collectibles item of the week, Matt Barzell of the Islanders, framed 11x14 autograph photo. Coach's Collectibles, your number one source for 100% authentic sports memorabilia and live public autograph events. The next public autograph event will be this Monday, October 13th, when the Islanders' identity line comes to Mulcahy's in Wantagh. It's Matt Martin, Cal Clutterbuck, and Casey Cizikas. I had Matt Barzell on my mind because he was the item of the week. But it's Matt Martin, Cal Clutterbuck, and Casey Cizikas coming to Wantagh at Mulcahy's from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. To sign autographs. For more info, you can go to coachescollectiblesny.com, and they do so many great events. So you want to check that out if you're an Islanders fan. All right, we do this on Thursdays. It's Dad's time to brag, and we're going to start with my son Jared and his Levittown badminton teammates. It's a combination high school team of Levittown Division and MacArthur. The season is winding down. 3 matches they had this week, Jared, with some amazing shots that we're looking at right now. And he has really become a really good player. His smashes are all over the place right now. He's killing it. His serves are really fantastic. There were a few serves he had this week where he just ducks it right over the net and it drops in. It doesn't give the other team a chance to do much of anything. Tony, have you ever seen badminton in person before?
I have, actually, yes.
Yeah, it's actually it's a fascinating sport.
Harder than it looks.
It is harder than it looks. And it's similar to tennis, but it combines some other things. And it really takes a lot of skill. There was a match last night where the rally was going back and forth in the singles match. Jared plays doubles, but there was some amazing shots, and I've really enjoyed. One more to go on Tuesday when Levittown hosts Long Beach. It'll be senior night. They'll honor the seniors on the team. We're up to a couple of the clips from last night's match in Valley Stream. But great. I loved it. This is Jared's second season on the team, and he's doing great, and we are so proud of him and his accomplishments. Now, to my older son, Bradley, and the post-university Eagles. They suffered their first loss of the season last weekend. They fell to St. Anselm 30-23. Another strong day of snapping for Bradley. He is the long snapper on the team. A Pro Football Focus rating of 97.1, eclipsing his 95.5 rating from the previous game. And this Saturday, the family heading up to Massachusetts, as I mentioned before, Bentley University, for a Saturday afternoon game on the road for the 3-1 Eagles taking on Bentley. So we're looking forward to that. And again, he was a center for just about all of his football career and just picked up the long snapping and got him recruited into colleges. And not just one that wanted him. I mean, he had a boatload of places that wanted his services. But having a good time there at Post. Look, you see some of the... I'm looking up at the delayed video screen, but you see the foliage starting to come in there in Connecticut, and even more coming up. The 4th annual Marty Lyons Foundation Evening of Thanks Gala, as the meter is running because I'm overtime. The 4th annual Marty Lyons Foundation Evening of Thanks Gala is coming up on Thursday, November 13th at the Bourne Mansion in Oakdale. The foundation will be honoring wishes granted in 2025 and members of the Marty Lyons Foundation family. There will be raffle prizes and a special live wish reveal. For more information, go to martylyonsfoundation.org. Now to some pro wrestling. Next Thursday, October 16th, Gotham Wrestling. Did I give you the graphic for this?
No.
I did not. Well, it's okay. I'll read it anyway. Next Thursday, October, because I out of the corner of my eye, I saw that look of confusion on Tony Walker. Yep. And it's usually, a lot of the times it's because I messed up and just didn't give it to him. But no, I guess I forgot to give it to you. Okay, it's all right. I'll get it to you for Tuesday. Next Thursday, October 16th, Gotham Wrestling has its first television event at Levity Live in West Nyack. Tickets are available at GothamWrestling.com. Doors open at 6:30, bell time at 7:30, and I'm proud to be a part of Gotham Wrestling as their communications coordinator. Jay Lethal, who people will remember from WWE, and he was in the TNA wrestling, and now he's in AEW now, but he's going to be lending his hand to Gotham Wrestling on that night. He's scheduled to be in the ring, and we're going to try to get Jay on the show next week, so stay tuned for that. That brings us to next week on Sports Bash. This Tuesday, keep this in mind, not at our regularly scheduled 1 o'clock time, so if you are an avid viewer of the show, get your calendars out. Tuesday, October 14th, we'll be on at a special time of 3 p.m. 3 p.m. live on Governor's Comedy Club Podcast, YouTube, and Facebook. And then on Thursday, October 16th, back at our regularly scheduled time of 1 o'clock. That will be St. John's Basketball Media Day on Thursday. So we were invited to come to Media Day, but we'll be doing the show. So we are working with St. John's to have a player on the show that day. So you'll want to stay tuned to social media to find out who that player will be. And that will do it for this edition of Sports Bash, presented by Ticketbash.com and the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund. Thanks to all of our Islander guests. Also, thanks to our social media coordinator, Connor Kalb. Thanks to Tony Walker and everyone here at Governor's. Sports Bash is sponsored by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, by Coaches Collectibles, and by the Marty Lyons Foundation. For our entire crew, I'm Peter Schwartz. Thanks for watching, and thanks for listening to the program. We are back on Tuesday at 3 o'clock. Have a great weekend, everyone.